For those of you who might be joining us on the replay, thank you so much for coming on in and checking us out. And for those of you joining us live, again, love seeing you all here. This time is perfect. Awesome. Because I got to tell you, it was so funny. I woke up this morning and I almost kind of went into a panic because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm running behind. And then I stopped for a moment and went, wait, no, I'm not. I have an extra hour. So it was wonderful. Wonderful. I got a chance to listen to some of the other scopes that I typically miss out on because of my time and things like that. So I was really enjoying myself this morning. And the funny thing was, one of the scopes that I popped on, she happened to be talking about a similar subject, and I kind of went, this is too funny. So evidently, that was just God's way of reconfirming for me that yes, this is what I needed to do a scope on today. You know how sometimes you plan for something and then God says, nope, we're going to do something different. So I was just thankful that it was like a reconfirmation for me that yes, this is what we're going to talk about. So my notes, as far as what I wrote down, are actually very minimal, but I'm hoping that they're going to make a huge impact on someone today. So first off, for those of you joining us here on Periscope, don't forget, those hearts do work, whether you are on the replay or live. If I'm sharing something or providing you with some useful content, something that you can appreciate, please give a little tap to the screen. That just lets me know that you all are here, lets me know that Periscope has not kicked y'all off, and that you are enjoying it, that I'm providing you with some kind of useful content. For those of you who have been following me for quite some time, do me a favor. You know what I'm all about. Do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that little Perryman. Invite your followers. Okay, so you can click on the little Perryman or swipe up or swipe over, depending on your device. And go ahead and click share broadcast and then share with your followers. This just allows us to be able to get the word out to more people, because who knows, maybe it's somebody that you're supposed to invite who's supposed to hear this message today. Okay, and you'll have to forgive me if my voice is a little less than par here. It just started this morning, so I can only assume it's because we had quite a busy weekend. And needless to say, my voice is getting a little shot. So I'm going to have to rest it at some point this week because we got a crazy busy schedule next week. So, all right, so we're going to get right into this. Everybody ready? Are you ready, ready, ready? Put a ready in the box if you're ready to hear this. Do we have a ready? Do we have any readies? Anybody ready? There they are. Sometimes I think Periscope likes to mess me up. Just a thought, maybe. Okay, all right, so we're going to get right into this. So here's, there's a couple of people that I want you to think about very quickly. Okay, so when I say the names Michael Jordan or Leonardo da Vinci or Thomas Edison, what comes to mind when I mention those names? Okay, so I'm going to give you just a second to tell me when I mention those names, what do you think about? What do you think about? Genius, okay, innovative. All right, give me some more words. What else? Anybody else? Good morning, Myra. Anyone else? When I say the names Michael Jordan, Leonardo da Vinci, and Thomas Edison, are there any other words that come to mind? Masters. Okay. All right. Okay. So here's just some things we're going to top of their game. Good one. Okay. So here's some quotes I want to share with you from each one of these people. Yes, I am back, Myra. Thanks so much for being here. Okay. So some of the quotes, first off, that have come from Michael Jordan. Okay. I failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Another quote of his says, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Another one of his says, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. All right. Now, This is going to be Leonardo da Vinci's quotes. Art is never finished, only abandoned. Iron rust from disuse. Stagnant water loses its purity, and in cold weather becomes frozen. Even so does inaction sap the vigor of the mind. Another quote of his says, "It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things." All right. Now, quotes from Thomas Edison. "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that it won't work." Okay. Are y'all still with me? If you're with me and these quotes are hitting home a little bit, give me some hearts. All right. Another one. "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." That one, I was like, I like that one. "An opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work." Okay, now here's what I want you to think about. If it were not for the fact that these men, okay, and by the way, you'll have to forgive me that it was all men. I didn't specifically set out to do that. I simply typed in greatest athlete, greatest artist, and greatest inventor. And they were the top ones who came up first. Okay, so that is how they were chosen. Before I get any hate mail for using all men. Okay, but here's what I want you to think about. If Michael Jordan had only ever gone to watch basketball games and had watched on SportsCenter and had simply sat back on the sidelines, if he would have sat on the bench or if he would have sat in the bleachers, would y'all even know who he is? Okay, and that is not a rhetorical question. I actually want an answer. All right, would you even know who he was if all he did was sit back and watch those basketball games or watch those teams win or lose? Or would you know who he was? No. Okay, you would have no idea who he is. All right, how about Leonardo da Vinci? If he simply watched someone else paint, but he never picked up a brush himself, would you know who he was? If he sat around and talked about how into art he is and how much of a love he has for art, but he never touched a canvas, would you know who he was? My guess is probably not. Okay? Thomas Edison. If he had never invented anything, if he had never done anything more than just read books or kind of research in his own little world as to, well, I kind of think it might work like this. Maybe if all he ever did was think of these things and never attempt to put them into practice, never attempt to actually create them or to write them down or to create formulas or to do any of those things to be able to create all the inventions that he developed, would you know who he is? Okay. Would he have had the success that he had? My guess is no. So, how many of you in your businesses are finding yourself watching trainings but doing absolutely nothing with it? How many of you even go as far as to, maybe for those of us who are Premier Designs Jewelers, how many of you have gone to watch another person's show and thought how amazing it was, but never did anything to change your own? How many of you know exactly what you need to be doing in your business, but you're simply not doing it? And yet, you often wonder, why success has seemed to pass you by. You may wonder why you're not seeing all these amazing things happening in your business, but you're watching them happen in somebody else's. Do you really think that you could ever have success in your business, in your life, in anything, if all you do is sit and watch without acting? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have to put forth the effort. We have to do things different if what we're doing is not working. Okay? And we have to keep doing things differently until we find what is going to work. Does this make sense to y'all? Thank you for those green hearts, Jenny. I think you are the only one who's joining me this morning. Yes, motivation is nothing without intention. Here's the thing. I had heard once, and well, actually, I can't even say once. I've heard several times from Gary Googe, and then was reminded about it again this past weekend at our Jewels of Hope training here at our home by my premier grandmom, Sharon Glick, who is a 4-diamond designer. And she shared with us, again, what Gary has always says at Haven of Hope every year, is that unfortunately, 99% on average of each jeweler who goes to any training, to any rally, to anything. No problem, Myra. That's okay. I'm just glad you're listening. Okay. So 99% of those who go to trainings, who go to rallies, any of that sort of thing, do you know that they will go home and they will change absolutely nothing? They might say, oh, that was amazing. And oh, those were some really great ideas. But then they get home and the excitement has left and they decide they're not going to change anything. And guess what? The next year, their business, if they're still in business, their business is very much in the same situation it was in the year before. Now, that 1%. That 1% leaves from that training, from that rally, from that Periscope, and they decide, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to make the changes that I need to make, and I'm going to commit to doing it, and I'm going to follow through and do it. And you know what happens the next year in their business? Not only are they still in business, but their business is in a totally different place than what it was the year before. And that will happen year after year after year. And guess what? You get to be the one to decide. Are you going to make a difference? Are you going to change the things that you know you need to change? Are you going to get out there and do the work that you know you need to do? Or are you going to be part of that 99% who says, that was great and all, but I don't feel like it? Okay. For me, I know for myself personally, I want to be the 1%. I want to be the 1% who leaves every single training with something. I don't care if I've heard the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Chances are my business, every single time I hear those things, my business is going to be in a somewhat of a different place. My life might be in different circumstances and things like that at that point in time, that those things are going to hit me in a different way every single time. And I want to know that when I leave each one of those trainings, that I come home and I do what I need to do. Or that when I get off of one of those Periscopes, I go, you know what? There's an area I can work on, and I'm going to work on it. I'm going to do what I can to make the change there. So my question to each of you, how many of you are going to be in that 1%? Is there anyone who would like to join me as being that 1% that is going to leave this Periscope today and is going to decide that, you know what, enough's enough. I'm tired of making the excuses. I'm tired of making up all these reasons and things that truly have nothing look, I'm ready to make a difference. I'm ready to make some money. I'm ready to change some people's lives. Okay. That's what we need to be ready to do. We need to stop with all these excuses and stop thinking that, hey, I can go out and get all this training, but if I don't put it into good use, what good is it? What good is it up here if I'm not doing anything with it, with my hands, with my business, with my life? What good is it if I'm not practicing those things? So I want you to think about that, okay? I also want you to think about this. What if, when God sent Jesus back to the earth to die for our sins, what if Jesus would have said, well, you know what? That's a great idea and all, but I just really don't want to. I don't want to do that. What if he would have decided not to act? Where would we be? So here's the thing. While we may never have an opportunity to touch the world or people quite as much and in the same way as what Jesus would have, what if by us acting on things, we are truly able to make a difference in somebody else's life? And we're able to witness that, and we're blessed enough to be able to see something come to fruition in somebody else's life that we had an opportunity to be a part of. Now, obviously, we know that all things come from God. All blessings and everything, it's all from Him. But here's the thing. We've said this before. He cannot bless your efforts if you're putting in none. So today I challenge you to start believing in yourself. Start believing in who you are in Christ. Start believing that you have just as much of an opportunity to be able to get out there and do the things that you can do. Focus on what you can do, not what you can't. And that of which you think you can't do, offer it to God and say, you know what? If you need me to do this and it's something I don't feel I can do, I'm going to trust that you're going to give me the strength, you're going to give me the skills necessary, and you're going to give me the ability to follow this through. Okay? And then you have to go work. You have to go do it. Don't sit and wait for that confidence to come, because guess what? Confidence comes only through action and continued practice. That's how you get good. That's how you get confident. That's how you're able to reach more people and be able to be a part of more people's lives and see those lives being enriched. So that's what I'm going to leave you all with today. So I pray that this has touched you in some way. If you feel that there's somebody out there who needs to hear this message, please feel free very quickly to go ahead and invite them to this scope. Yes, they'll come in at the very last end of it, but at the same time, it's okay. They'll get notification and they can watch that replay. All right. Again, we are doing our 9 a.m. Eastern Time scopes now. So this is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, that I will be here to be able to share some different things with you. For those of you who might be here, I realized that I didn't introduce myself initially. Oops. So just in case there's anybody here who has no idea who I am, my name is Buffy Hood, and I'm a jeweler with Premier Designs Jewelry, but first and foremost, I am a woman of God, I'm a wife, and I am a mother of two beautiful teenage daughters. So needless to say, I like to use Periscope as a platform just to be able to share the experiences that I've had in direct sales over the last 9.5 years, to be able to hopefully maybe be able to assist you in yours. So I'm going to leave y'all, but listen, if this touched you in some way, can you just put your favorite emoji in the box for me? That's awesome. I'm so glad you can join live now. That's wonderful. And listen, this has been a blessing, because now y'all know how much I enjoy listening to Justin. And he's on at 8 a.m. So this just thrills me, because now I can be on his scopes and listen to him. Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing those emojis. Thank you for spending your time here with me. Y'all could have spent your time anywhere and you chose to be here with me. So I so appreciate that. Thank you again. And don't forget, share this out if it has touched you and you think it might touch somebody else's life as well. Have a blessed day. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thanks. Bye-bye. See if it'll let me leave.